Welcome back to the Neutral Zone. Today we're going to be covering the 2024 Louisville Cardinals as we continue along with our 2024 college football preview series. As always, before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. And at the end of the video, be sure to make sure you put your comment down below. Let us know about our takes, what takes you have for this team, and make sure you like the video as well if you enjoyed the content. With that being said, Dad, let's get right into talking about their season last year, where we had them projected. I had them 10-2. With losses to Notre Dame, Miami. So I actually got both their losses incorrect, which is kind of crazy. You had them
But
7-5.
you had the record much closer. What, they were 9-3?
No, they were 10-2 at the end of the regular season. I got the record right. But they ended up losing to Florida State and then losing to USC in the bowl game. I knew last year, like I said, people were calling me crazy in the comment section. Well, they really weren't because Louisville fans were on the video, but a lot of people were raising eyebrows about, my hunch that Louisville was going to be good last year, but it was really based off of their schedule. I thought they had a good team returning back. They had a veteran team coming back, and the schedule really worked in their favor. The ACC was wide open last year. We saw Clemson kind of down. Florida State was the real top team, but Louisville was battling with them the whole time. Then after that Notre Dame win, it was kind of like, we were talking about this team potentially getting a spot at the playoffs, but then they obviously lost to Pittsburgh with that loss there. But overall, what do you take away from their season last year?
No, I mean a good year. Just a bunch of things that hit. Jack Plummer came in, looked really good at the quarterback position. Jahar Jordan as a running back over 1,000 yards, and really you had that dual threat with Isaac, and I don't know how you say his last name, so I'm not gonna even try to. Jameer Thrash as a receiver. And then they had a very good a defensive line last year. Much of that we're going to talk about. They returned some of their big key players on defensive line. But on offense, just a lot of things seem to mesh. And this probably pays into exactly what you said. They had a favorable schedule in a down year for the ACC.
Yeah, when you look at the schedule, obviously NC State was a solid team. They etched that win out. But prior to that, those 4 first games were pretty easy. Obviously, Indiana was a tough game. That was a neutral site game. You win against Notre Dame at home, which to me was a shocker. And then you lose to Pitt. But then after that, you reel off obviously the Duke win. That was without Riley Leonard because he was injured, and Duke had the big win over Clemson early on. Virginia Tech, Virginia. Then you win at Miami. That was a big time win. Obviously, the Kentucky win is really what derailed the season at that point. Obviously, a rivalry matchup. And then you lose to Florida State without without Jordan Travis in a defensive battle in the AC title game. But I think Louisville had a really good year last year. We're going to obviously talk a lot about the season upcoming, but their ESPN ranked FPI is number 21, so top 25, projected to go about 8-4 with a 12% chance to win the ACC. I feel like 12% is fair.
I feel like it's very fair.
But moving on to talk about their key losses first, Jamari Thrash obviously transferred over from a group of 5 the previous season. Had a hell of a year last year with Louisville, was the number 1 guy, had some big time plays, critical moments for them. Then like you said, Isaac Garendo, he was a lead back for them with Jawar Jordan as well. So they kind of had a two-headed monster. You lose Jarvis Brownlee and Kevin Coleman. But I think you bring back, like you said, a lot of pieces on that defense. It's going to be one of the most veteran-led defenses in college football. TJ Quinn, I believe he was the leading tackler on this team. Quincy Riley, who I used as a thumbnail last year. He's one of the best DBs in the ACC. Benjamin Perry and Devin Neal come back. So 3 of your starting 4 safeties or DBs come back. You bring back Ashton Gillette. I believe he had 11 sacks last year, if I read it right.
11 sacks, yep.
Yeah, 11 sacks. And if I had to guess, that's probably close to leading the ACC and maybe be close to leading the country.
One of the returners,
so 11 sacks. You're almost averaging a sack a game. That's really good numbers. So I think you bring back Chris Bell, obviously. You bring in another transfer wide receiver. Ja'Cory Brooks from Alabama. So he's obviously a big-time name. Colin Lacey from South Alabama, another group of 5 product. Tamara McDonald from Tennessee, safety from Tennessee. And then you bring Tyler Shuck in from Texas Tech. Obviously, they lose Jack Plummer, which I didn't post on this slide here, but that's a kind of obvious thing. They did lose Jack Plummer. And then obviously Donald Chaney comes over from Miami with a lot of the Miami, recruiting kind of building up. I think Donald Chaney is going to be able to solidify the running back room that they're losing. But I like the team. I do think it's going to be a step back from last year. Even though I was very high on this team, those of you guys know Louisville has my most favorite uniforms in college football. They're the best Adidas school in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But like I said, I like this team a lot. What is your thoughts on what they're returning and what they're bringing in and what they lost?
Yeah, so the first part is so much of what made them successful offensively, and again, I caveat that by saying offensively is gone, and we've hit on all those. Shuck has been in college football. Literally, his freshman year was 2019. So this is really his opportunity to really make himself a marquee quarterback and put himself in draft contention. So I want to see what it is that they look like. I'm concerned about what they're returning. As you talk about some of the players coming over, Donald Chaney now being the lead back, replacing almost 2,000 yards rushing. I don't know that him alone, he can do that. Again, we talk about Thrash being a great receiver last year, and losing that productivity is going to be a big deal. But this team has a great defensive line, excuse me. We already talked about Gillette. They also have Thor coming over, big Thor Griffith coming from Harvard, a big defensive lineman. They also have Mason Rieger, who went for 5 sacks last year. So one of the best front fours. And then again, when you add some of those guys in the defensive backfield, this is going to be a really good defense. Really, you're asking that defense to try to carry them until that offense can kind of find their sync, especially against what I think is going to be a very competitive ACC this year.
Yeah, I think ACC is going to be competitive as well. Now, I will say, though, I think last year was their window. I think that was one of the best teams that they've had in a really long time, since the Lamar Jackson days, 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. But so I think as you're looking right now, the ACC is only getting tougher. And when you look at this recruiting class being at the 50th overall, only 1 4-star, no 5 stars, it's going to be really hard to be able to compete at a high level and maintain consistency if you're not able to consistently win. I think if Louisville can go out this year and replicate another, 9, 10-win season, then we're looking at this team as, really being contenders in the ACC for the long haul. But if they're not able to, I don't know if recruits are going to want to go to a school like Louisville, who's, not in a recruiting hotbed. They're not, and again, recruits may not look at this, but they're not a Nike or a Jordan school. They're an Adidas school, and Adidas they're frowned upon, if we're being honest. It's not one of the major brands. Again, it doesn't bother me. I like the uniforms a lot, but they're just not a marquee school for football. For basketball, this is a blue blood. So we're looking at this, it's kind of the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Kentuckys. It's just not the same. So we got to see if they can consistently do it on the football field. I mean, if they can, I think they can, build on the recruiting class, the transfer portal. I think this is a good transfer portal class. I think if they're able to build on it, then they're able to consistently move up.
Yeah. See, so the big concern is I think what you have is a bunch of young guys that seem to be big star recruits that just didn't maybe pop where they were. We talked about Shuck, Chaney, Ja'Cory Brooks. This is now their opportunity, big program guys. This is now their opportunity to get on the field and show that they were worth that star recruitment that they got coming in. If they pop the same way as the guys that just left Louisville, the guys that we've already mentioned, then this has the chance to be a very good team. This has the ability to be a team that is competing for that ACC championship. But what you're really counting on is a lot of potential that just hasn't popped yet in college football. And really now they're getting their first opportunity to be lead guys. They're getting their first opportunity to be on that center stage by themselves and really get extensive playing time and show that they were worth, like I said, the star ranking they got as recruits.
All right, I do want to move on over to the schedule, and again, I do want to make sure everybody knows this. We do not view each other's prediction until right now. It's actually crazy. Well, I viewed my dad's maybe 10 minutes ago when he sent it, but my dad did not see mine. This might be the 4th or 5th time we've had the exact same prediction, and it's kind of getting old because there's no way we can kind of have dialogue back and forth. I mean, I guess we can, but it's not the same. The only thing we have different on this list is I have the floor at 6 and 6, and you have the floor at 5 and 7. So the only 5 teams I can see them losing against are Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson, Kentucky, and Boston College. Those are the 5 that I see, or the 6 I see. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. 6 is Notre Dame, SMU, Miami, Boston College, Clemson, Kentucky. Is that 6?
Okay, you said Notre Dame, SMU, Miami, Boston College, Clemson, Kentucky.
Is that 6?
That's 6.
Okay, so those are my 6.
So I would add, I think Georgia Tech is going to be halfway decent this year. And I'm not saying, again, obviously I have Louisville winning that game. But that was my other game. Is I think Georgia Tech. It wouldn't be shocking to me if Georgia Tech was able to pull that off. Again, not how I'm picking this game, but it wouldn't be shocking. So that was my other game.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we both have them 8-4, losing the same exact games.
Man,
I think Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson are just going to be better teams than them this
yeah.
year. Last year Louisville had the luxury of having that weaker schedule. This year it's not going to be the same. You have to travel to Notre Dame. You have to travel to Clemson, and then you go to Miami. And I think
Well,
Miami's going to be a good game this
Miami
year as
comes
well.
to Louisville.
I'm sorry, Miami comes to Louisville. And then you have to go on the road at Kentucky. We saw them last year lose that game, and now you have to go on the road to play them. I think Kentucky's going to be good as well. We saw them in the bowl game against Clemson. That was a really good game. So I just think that this schedule is going to be a little bit tougher. And I don't know how I feel about Louisville, what they have bringing back, if I'm as confident as I was last year saying this is a 10-2 team that's going to take a spot in the AC title game. I don't anticipate Louisville being in the AC title game this year. Could they make a run? Yes. If they're able to upset a Clemson, a Miami, a Notre Dame, then sure. But I just think when you have to play two of the top three toughest teams in the ACC this year, it's going to be hard. Especially when you're bringing in a new quarterback, a new running back, new receivers. The defense will be there, but offensively, Notre Dame's going to be one of the top 10 defenses. Clemson is going to be one of the top 10 defenses. So, are you going to be able to put up points to win games on the road? It's remain to be seen.
Yeah. Again, as we mentioned, Shuck in his sixth season so far in college football has not thrown for over 1,600 yards, has not thrown for over 13 touchdowns. This is his sixth season. I don't think that this is some guy that all of a sudden just pops, just puts himself in the Heisman race or, throws for 3,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. I don't see that for him. Do I think his numbers are going to be better with a true starting opportunity? Yes. But again, you're talking about some very good teams. So Notre Dame is going to be very good. Miami, we've talked about them and all they bring back and then what they did in the transfer portal. Clemson is Clemson, and let's not forget that. And in Kentucky, at Kentucky, that is always a good game. I think Louisville has a very good defense. I'm very concerned about, again, these guys that they brought over from the transfer portal trying to replace and replicate the productivity that they had on offense last year with guys that have not popped yet in college football. Again, the talent's there, but it's hard for me to especially with transfer portal players, right? If these were new recruits, maybe I could project and predict a little bit better that, hey, they have an opportunity or the ability to really pop. But some of these guys have been in college football for a number of seasons and they haven't popped before. So I don't know what it is that I would see that would make me believe that, yeah, at Louisville, with all that that continuity that's not there, all that chemistry that's not there, all of a sudden, all of these guys, because really it would be all of these guys, it would be Ja'Cory Brooks, it would need to be Donald Chaney, and it would need to be Shuck, all popping at the same time for the first time in their careers. I just don't see that happening.
Let us know in the comment section what you guys think about Louisville and their season this year. Do you guys think they're going to replicate it, go to the AC title game again? Are they going to take a step back? Are they going to go forward? Are they going to make a playoff push? Let us know in the comment section before you guys leave. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. We're going to continue to do these previews. The college football game comes out in about a week, so we're excited for that. And then what? What do you have to say?
Man, we go. You know what? Because we haven't done it in a while. And we have loyal fans, and I just want to do a little pop-up giveaway. So you got just kind of make up a trivia question. You have something?
Okay. Well, it's hard because somebody can look it up.
Well, it's fine, but the fact that they made it to this point in the video, kudos to them.
Okay. Let's see. We'll do. If you guys can name in the comment section the first person to name the last 5 cover athletes for the NCAA football game, so like 14 down to 2009, the first person to comment that, we will send a Xbox or PSN code to you for $50 to cover towards your college football game. If you're one of those people who play the game, if not, you don't have to do the trivia. But assuming you guys play the game, we'll send you a code. We'll get in contact with you, send you a code for $50. That'll be 80%, 90% of the game that you have to pay. If you've already paid it, then that's $50 reimbursement for you guys.
Yeah, that you can use for VC
whatever
or
you want.
And let me say, this is for our loyal fans. I know a lot of the giveaways that we announce, all of a sudden, a lot of people come. And again, we appreciate that as well, because a lot of times we get a lot of new subscribers. But we want to do something for the people that watch these videos, that have been rocking with us. We appreciate you guys. We're not announcing this. This is really kind of off the cuff. We talked about this a little bit ago. So this is completely off the cuff. We're not announcing this. This is for those of you that made it to wherever we are in this video, about 15 minutes in the video, that are really rocking with us. We appreciate you guys. So put that in the comments, and $50.
Definitely. We'll see you guys next preview. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.